Good day, everyone. I'm happy to meet you. How is your day going? I have a topic to talk on today, and the topic is multimedia teaching method and literacy. Multimedia When we talk about multimedia, we are talking about the combination of different type of teaching content. Then at the same time, we are talking about teaching method. We have different type of teaching method. And I'm going to combine it with literacy. Literacy. So when we talk about multimedia teaching method and literacy, it's a large scope, but I'm going to break it down one after the other. So multimedia is a content that uses a combination of different contents. Like when you are trying to use audio to teach, you are using images to teach. Like what you can see here, they are images of what I'm going to talk about today in security education. You can use animation as well. You can see this on some of the things that look like animation, like this. Then at the same time, you can use interactive studio. You can bring in interactive session and make sure your listeners see and feel and touch what you are talking about. So when we talk about multimedia, it's a large component. Different type of item, bringing them together to teach, to impart knowledge, to pass your message across, to get the students' attention, and at the same time for them to assimilate what you are teaching them. So whenever all these combinations are gathered together, like using audio, using video, using text, using images, using animation, so this is what we call multimedia. Then teaching method. We have teaching method is principle. Is having two-way broad heading. So teaching method is as large as teaching it is itself. We can classify teaching method into different heading. We have lecture method, we have discussion method, we have demonstration method, we have question and answer method, and at the same time we have brainstorming method, and we have role play method as well. In lecture method is when the teacher deliver the teaching to the students without giving room for the student to give feedback at that point. You are just pouring your messages, your teaching down in form of lecture. It's not interactive, but that is basically lecture method. Then when we talk about discussion method of teaching or discussion method in teaching method, discussion is when you allow this listener, your audience, your students to interact, to contribute, to make contribution during your lecture. Like for example, you are teaching a topic on security education, and you decide to ask students, have you seen anywhere that any crime is being committed? Many of them will say yes, and then allow them to talk what type of crime, whether big or small, they will be able to narrate. And in that, the teaching method is called discussion method. We have what we call demonstration method. Like what we have here now, I'm trying to demonstrate, and I want my listener to see what I'm talking about. We know about Boko Haram in Nigeria, and you can see the picture of Boko Haram. You can see the picture of armed robbers, how they are attacking people. You can see somebody that was just murdered on the road, and you can see drug abuse. All this, they are combined together under security education. Then we have question and answer method. In under teaching method, when we talk about question and answer, you allow students to ask questions and to contribute, and they get answer to their question right there when the teaching is going on. Then brainstorming, that is the aspect when you can give the student, you give them tasks. You ask them in the class, I give you 5 minutes, 4 of you, 3 of you, come together, think of something that can give us solution to this problem. You see, 2 or 3 of them will come together and they will brainstorm, and then they will be able to bring answer, and then they will provide answer to that question. That is brainstorming method in teaching. Then we have role play as well. Role play, we also allow them to contribute based on what they have seen, based on what aspects of activity they have participated on. Then they'll be able to carry on their activity very well. Then we have what we call literacy. When we talk about multimedia teaching method and literacy, they go hand in hand, they go together. Now, I'm going to talk about literacy. Literacy is the ability to read, to write, speak and spell, to listen and comprehend. So somebody that is literate will have gone through some tutelage of education, will have undergone some education aspects in life. Maybe in the physical classroom or in any other way. There are some people that are literate, but they have not been to physical classroom. They are literate through internet, from what they study from internet, from what they study on TV, on cable, and all that. There are so many ways you can be literate without coming to the 4 walls of classroom. Now, people see literacy as knowledge and competence in a specific area, and that is the fact. That is why when you are literate in one area, you are major in that area. If you are literate in medicine, whether you are a doctor or a pharmacy, at least you have knowledge in that area. If you are literate as an accountant or banker, when we get to financial aspects, financial sector, whether in the bank or in any area, you can make input. Somebody like me, I'm literate in education. I can teach, I can explain myself to the audience, and they will get what I'm saying. That is what we call literacy. So as a professional teacher, if you need to teach a topic in any subject using the multimedia listed above, by choosing any of the methods depending on the subject matter or your subject area. So as a teacher, you should consider 2 things. The subjects to be taught. So the subject you are going to teach, have it in mind and know that this subject, am I master in that area? Can I deliver it and people will comprehend what I'm talking about? Another thing you need to consider is the nature of the learner. You need to put into consideration the ages of the learner or the age of the learner, the situation, the environment, and everything that has to do for them to gain and assimilate what you are passing across. So in order to make the teaching and learning effective, as a teacher, you should be able to consider this. Now, let us now look at the approach for teaching method. Approach for teaching method. So when we talk about the approach for teaching method, the approach can be broadly classified into 2 headings. We have teacher-centered method, and we can also have what we call student-centered method. When we talk about teacher-centered method, that is when the teacher is mainly the authority in the class. Teacher is the one dishing out the message. Teacher is the one saying everything. Teacher is the one dictating everything. without giving room to the students to participate, without giving room to the student to contribute. So in that case, we see that one as teacher-centered method. So it is primarily the role of the teacher to pass the knowledge onto the students, and the primary role of the students in that teaching method is to receive information via lecture and direct instruction. So that type of method, we can call it lecture method or direct instruction method, where the teacher will just be pouring the message down to the students, whether they are getting it properly or they are not getting it properly. He may not be able to know that. So because that method is majorly teacher-centered method. And at the end of that method, the evaluation will take place. They will still assess the student whether they get the message right or not. Then the second method, which is the student-centered method, I can say that one is the best, because when you allow students to participate, they won't forget the contribution they make in the class. When you allow students to participate, they won't forget that I've seen this picture. But if it is only teacher-centered method, they will only see the picture, but they won't be able to ask questions. But if you allow it to be student-centered, sample their opinion. You can even tell them, have you seen somebody that commits suicide by hanging before? They will tell you, yes, they have seen. They will participate. They will even say, yes, I've seen something like this before. Maybe on TV, on film, or on video, or whatever. You will also ask them, have you seen where armed robbery take place before? If they say no, they will physically, they might not see it, but in the film, they will have seen it. Then, have you seen where drug abuse is being done? They will tell you they have seen it, and they will make input. Then when you have shown them and allowed them to contribute, you now tell them the consequences of all these bad habits, because all these things here, they are security issues. So, and if it is not well handled, it can mar the nation. If it is not well handled, it can destroy the entire community. Where drug abuse is raging, is going on, and at the end of the day, they do not curb it. You see the youths involving in it. Armed robbery, you see youths involving in it. You can even see, if you are listening to news frequently, you hear that 3 days ago, gunmen attack some people in Zamfara. All this, they are security issue. You can now see that all this, they have to do with our day-to-day life activity. Election rigging is still part of it as well. If the students are conscious of it and they know the consequences of this, they won't involve in it. You can see human trafficking. If you allow them to know the effect that this is causing in the community, they won't participate in it. You can see poverty is part of what is bringing all this. Tell them that education is so important. If they know the value of education and they stick to it and they take it serious, poverty will be far away from them. You can see issue of rape here. If the students are conscious of all this security issue, they will know how to protect themselves, they will know how to protect the people around them, and they will know how to run to security agents whenever they see any crime going on around their environment. Now, we are still talking about student-centered approach to learning. In this approach, teachers are also the authority figure in this mode, but teachers control the class and allow the students to participate. The teacher primarily role is to coach and facilitate student learning, while student learning is measured through both formal and informal. And at the same time, the students can easily participate in their assessment, in their own evaluation. You can ask them, based on this contribution you have made, now ask the second person, is this person correct? He or she will say yes, and then from there they are evaluating themselves. You can now say, you answer this question. When the person answers that question, the person has made contribution. You have made it student-centered. You now ask, before you make your own final verdict, you now ask another student, would the answer student A give, is it correct? If student B say yes, two of them, they are making contribution in that, they are making impact, and they are evaluating themselves. So, in this model of teaching and assessment, are student-centered. Learning is continual, and in that case, whatever they have said, it will retain in their memory, and then they will not forget. They will be able to remember at all time. So we are going to streamline the heading that we have here into what we call security education, as I've showed the audience in this picture. So when we talk about security education, it's what we need to take serious. Even as Nigeria is concerned, everybody must be security conscious. These days, if you are not security conscious, things that go on around us, you may be caught in the web of insecurity. So, but if you are security conscious, you'll be able to report whoever that is dealing in drug trafficking. So if you know whoever that is dealing in drug trafficking and you're able to report such a person, you are helping to control the crime in the environment. Then when you see that somebody is about to commit murder, and you have the opportunity of calling the security agents into the action before the action takes place, that is more better. Or you have any information or any hints about armed robbery somewhere, you can thank God Nigeria is having a number that is very effective now. They call it 112. Like what we have in abroad, they call that one is 911. But our one here is 112. 112 is very effective. I've called that 112 once when I saw an accident, and that accident involved 2 people inside the car, and then one is dead and the other one was still trying to survive. And I remember that when you call 112, security people will come. And lo and behold, I call 112 and they asked me where is the location, and I told them we're in so place, an accident happened, and then one has died, the other one is still struggling to survive. Lo and behold, within 10 minutes, an ambulance came with road safety, and they were able to rescue the second person and rush him to the hospital. So in such manner, you can help. You don't need to wait until when the crime is being committed and the criminal has gone before you report it. Or you don't need to wait because it's not happening to me, or because it's not directly to my family. We have to help each other to combat security. Take for example, this person that wants to rape another woman here. If you get a hint, you can alert the security agents. Then at the same time, to control poverty, encourage people to get education, and then the society will be better for it. Thank you very much. I appreciate you for listening.